Mm, okay. Hey, Lee, can you unmute yourself and just confirm you can see my screen?
Yep, we can see you.
Thank you. All right. So today's topic is setting people as age leads as a status, and then how can you work them throughout the rest of the year? So the concept of this is during AEP, you probably got in a lot of referrals, a lot of names. Some people called you back, some people didn't. And then maybe you have, people that are, are either, stone cold not interested, but there's that other little group of people that are between not interested and sold. So how can we work them throughout the year? So one way that we can do that is we can go into settings. We're going to go into status and we'll go into status options. This is where you can add a status option and I'm going to do it for you. Oh, what the hell is this? Status group prospect and then this is going to be age lead. And then I'm going to put that toward the bottom of the sort order for my leads because that's obviously not the people that I want to focus on. If you want to show the tally for the how many people you have as H leads, you can click on show lead count. Um, and then I usually try to match the same sort order to the count sort order, but in this case, I would actually probably put it even lower. The reason is, let me show you. Okay, the reason for that is that if I'm on the lead page, it's going to be at the end of that lead page because it's like 10. So the way that the status groupings work is it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? So it's going horizontally and then going down a row by the count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? On the dashboard, it does the same thing, but if you are looking at all the various leads and client relationships, I guess we now have them kind of grouped. Um, so that way you can see it a little bit easier. So the additional records have the call outs there. But again, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. So just making sure that that organization is the way you want it. It's a little bit to play around with. You've got to play around. Okay. So the basic idea of this is you go to settings, you go to status options, you go and edit that status option. You add the status option, and then you're going to set it as for the grouping of leads or prospects, whatever you called it. And then the description is going to be new age lead, show in the lead count, and show it at a lower count sort order. So I think that that's all clear. That's pretty much standard for the way that we do things. If at the end we want to go through other status options, uh, this is, something that we can work on. Um, Jeremy, I'm not sure of your question. Before I go into the next one, training, recruiting. Uh, this meeting is just for you to understand some functionalities of the CRM and what's possible for you. So this is just an idea for you to work your leads using the CRM throughout the year. Um, if you have a more specific question, if you can clarify it in the chat, and we'll get to that at the end. Okay, so we've created that status. Now, what we're going to do is utilize that status. And one of the ways that we can really utilize it is going to settings and then going to either um, automated workflows and building a workflow campaign specific to each lead. So you can add a workflow, age lead, with a record type of lead, with a status of age lead, and that's it. So save that workflow. Now we can determine what do we want to do with those leads. Well, maybe we want to add an action to send them an email minute one. And maybe that is saying, I've worked with, we had touched base at one point and wanted to do a final check-in. Um, and that's the reason why I'm reaching out right now. I'll reach out in 3 months, but just wanted to touch base one last time. Then you send it to the record and you select that email template that you've created. So if I don't have any examples of that, we can go into email template creation if we have time later. But let's just save action. Then maybe what you want to do next is if they're aged leads, I would probably only send them emails, but you could also add them into the call queue maybe 3 months later, right? To an aged lead call queue. So I can show you how to add a call queue shortly, but let's just pretend that we had a final attempt needed call. So we'll put them into that call queue, and then you can, in 3 months, you'll have them in your list to call those people. Add another action, maybe 6 months later. So that way you're working them for the next 9 months. And then when you're ready for AEP next year, you'll be able to then say, hey, I've reached out to you throughout the year. I know open enrollment is happening now, blah, 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 right? That last email right at AEP time, I would do that as a mass email. So if you go into email and then you select news, put the status of age lead, and then you select the template of like AEP age lead as opposed to AEP new lead, right? Because you now have this kind of business-esque relationship with them. So it's a little bit more established that you're a legitimate agent and that you've been attempting to help them throughout the year. So this is another way that you can do that. You could also do something where you just have them on your newsletter list. So that way you're learning about information on new prescriptions or information on new advantages in their state, right? So you can always include them in these kinds of mass email newsletters. You might even consider having a newsletter that's specific to people who are not your clients, that are only leads. That's a really good way to kind of separate out your current leads. So you might give some extra service and some extra opportunities to in that newsletter, as opposed to general leads. But you can easily use one newsletter template and then copy it. So we'll go into that next. Just want to check in on the chat. Great. Okay, so creating those email templates. You go to template and we can create some newsletters. There is a newsletter template there for you. It's kind of basic, but it does give you some structure, right? So here it has like an image and then some text. But if you would like to create your own, we can just have you do that from scratch. The one thing that we've added in for you is the basic signature, or maybe it's called blank signature. There we go. If you sell Medicare, I would always use the blank signature with CMS disclaimer to start with. And if you don't sell Medicare, you just use the blank signature one. And you can delete the one that you don't use. So let's pretend that you edited your blank signature template and it has your logo, your picture, whatever it is here, your company's name, all of that's been done and you've saved that template. So that way um, your signature line is accurate. Then what you would do is you would go to blank signature, you would copy, and you would rename this newsletter for um, your quarterly newsletter and whatever, right? So do that. Then you can have your agent profile image at the top. This is a merge tag. So any merge tag here, you can insert person's name, their first name, etc. You can put in your information. Lots of options here, right? But this agent profile image is in your account, my information, and profile image. So you could upload it there. That way, any of your agents can upload their profile and it will display at the top. Okay. The way that you can create a newsletter is to really utilize this rows option here. So that way at the top, you just have this like long header row, but and then you might have some text and whatnot. But if you drag over the other rows, you can add in content that's much more organized like that. So then you say, I want to have list one, list two, for all the reasons why they should be my client, right? Then you can drag in an image, you can drag in a video, all of these things. And then you're just going to upload those elements, right? So here, this is the list, license in all states. Um, Medicare is helpful. I don't know, whatever you want to say, right? So this is the way that you can create the structure of the email template. And we do go into this in various trainings. I don't know if this training is exactly the place that we'll go too deep into it unless people really have questions about really utilizing each one of these features. Um, but this is just a very helpful way to structure a newsletter template. Other thing that you can do is you go to the settings option over here, you can center it so it's more like a newsletter. And the background can be whatever your branded logo image or colors are. So you can utilize this background color, content background. You can make it transparent, that's the default, or you can make it white or something else, right? So you can just select the content to be, so if I wanted it to be yellow, so now the content background is yellow. You can also do this per element, but this is a way for you to play with those colors since it's a newsletter and you want it to pop a little bit more. Um, and then you can also add in things like GIFs. We do this a lot in our newsletters. You'll probably see where we have silly images. Um, but, you know, you could put happy birthday if it was a happy birthday or, happy anniversary to us, right? So you can always change that image if you just click on search for images. So, you know, gotta stay healthy, whatever you want to put in there. So all of these things are available for you to create as a template. Um, so once you've got your template saved, then you can start creating those mass emails or those automated workflows that include those. One thing on template, I think this is a pretty terrible template. I'm not even going to save that one. But one thing to know, when you are ready to, when you've created this template, what you'll do is you'll hit send sample. This will allow you to send it to yourself. You want to be able to send that template to yourself so you can see how it looks before you send it to anybody else. And you can also, put somebody else in there as well. So long as you've got it separated by a comma, all of those people will be sent that email. Um, Now, this when I first built out the status of each lead, then I went to automated workflows. The final step to trigger that workflow would be to go to leads. And then what you can do is you can search by oldest text and whatever that lead status is. So like any lead that is, so here we have any lead, right? And so we can look and see these age leads. And if they've been like in the system for a long time, we could just select all and then bulk update and change their status. So that's how you can do it simply from that lead page. But you could also go to reports And then also, just so you see here, the leads per page can be changed. I wouldn't recommend doing more than 250 at a time. The reason is that this will take a lot of your computer's memory. You can also do that from reports. So in custom reports, you could go to leads and then you could look for their create date. So create date from 1/1/2021 to, let's say, 11 to 12/31/2023. So we're going to search for all of those people and put them into that age loop. So I'm going to display the report. And now it'll still be only up to 500 records, so you might need to tighten that time frame a little bit. But then you can select all bulk update, change that status to age lead, submit. And once that's been processed, then that whole automated workflow campaign begins. So now if I go to my lead and I look for my age lead, I can quickly go to clicking on here. If I go into this person's file, I will see that that workflow has been triggered. So workflow was triggered. And then what are my pending workflow actions here? So that's pretty much it. So just updating the status to age lead, or creating a status, I should say. Settings, status options, create that status. Next step, build the workflow. Actually, next step, build the email template. And also, if you want to build the call queue for specifically age leads, go to settings, phone dialer and call queues, add an age lead call queue description, that viewable to all users, or maybe just specific users. Maybe it's like your customer service team instead of your lead agent. But then you add that in, and now you can start building out that workflow to add in those email templates and calls and anything else, maybe pass to the agent. There's another thing in the automated workflow that you can utilize that is third-party apps. So we don't usually talk about it in most of these sessions, just because it's um, just an additional feature if you wanted to use it, but you would have to pay for Direct Mail Manager. But it's mail postcard and mail letter. So mail postcard would be a good thing for you to do, like maybe mid-year or on their birthdays or something like that. So you can connect Direct Mail Manager. That's just directmailmanager.com. You can create postcards, you can create letters, and then have the automated workflows processes for you. That's an additional charge. You'd have to look on their website to see all the pricing, but we've had a number of clients use them, so we built that integration in. You can also like remove from the call queue. So like after maybe 9 months, you're gonna remove them from the call queue of that final attempt needed. So that way they're just like, out of that call queue or remove from all call queues. So that's always an option for you too. And then you also have the option to send newsletters. So those eight leads still be included in your full newsletter, or you could use it as a segment to market to them specifically, using it as an age lead status and then sending out that newsletter. So this is pretty basic. But it touches on a lot of different features. So that's why I wanted to do something like super small today, just because it's small, but there's a lot of functionality that goes into that, right? Once you're familiar with building the templates and building the workflows and sending mass emails, kind of straightforward. But I'm interested to know if there's any aspect of this that you'd like me to dive deeper into. And if there is, you can also just raise your hand or unmute yourself since it doesn't seem like there's a lot of questions yet. No? All right. Nice and easy today. So hopefully that helps you get an idea. There's always a million other ways that you can go about, um, utilizing these features. But hopefully that gives you one idea of how you can still work your book of business that you didn't capture from last year. So we'll keep going into these little short, detailed oriented items. But all right. Well, have a great day, and you'll see a post from me soon in the help app in regard to the video from yesterday. Okay. All right. Talk to you soon. Bye.